Hi, everyone, and welcome back to launch week of our Anatomy of Abundance book, a holistic guide for creating prosperity in all aspects of life. I am so excited to introduce you to this next expert author, my good dear friend, Micaela Belopede. Welcome, Micaela.
Hi, Katrina. Hi, everyone. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you as usual. It is such an honor for me to have you being a part of this project just because of your soul, your spirit, just who you are, how you show up in the world and in our communities, especially here in California, because we're so lucky. But I'd love for you to introduce not only yourself, but also the magic that you bring into the world.
Okay, great. So right now I'm just talking about myself, not about the book yet.
Yes.
Okay. Um, my name is Micaela Belopede, and I'm also the author of a book called Happiness is Not a Destination, 50 Countries, 50 Years, 50 Lessons. I am an author, an entrepreneur, a mother, a former teacher of many years, a world traveler, and a miracle catcher. I started a nonprofit foundation about 14 years ago, and we started building, helping build a school in Uganda for orphans. And then that grew, and now it's expanded to helping schools and programs in 22 countries. Um, and my goal is just to help 1 million children in with $1 million. And then when I reach that goal, I'll go to 1 billion. But that's a
That's
little bit about me.
a big vision, big vision. So I'm excited to hear and for you to share a little bit about how this book fits into your vision and what made you want to be a part of this particular book project.
Thanks, Katrina. Well, first of all, I'm just really super, super pleased and happy that Shine is going to be the recipient of the profits from our book. I've known Cynthia, who's the founder of Shine, for many years, and I really believe in her vision. The Miraclecatcher Foundation and what I do in the world right now is about helping other people realize their visions in the world. I've been able to manifest all of the things that I wanted in my life. And now that I'm in my fifth decade, most of my time, besides being with my young toddler, is about helping other people be great in the world. So I love empowering other women. I love connecting all the amazing women that I know to each other. My chapter, which we'll get to in a little bit, is about generating, manifesting, investing, and then sharing lots and lots of abundance around the world. And that really is, who I am. I don't necessarily believe in wealth just for me. I've never been interested as a teacher, as a mystic. I've never been interested in just having money to have money. When I started to see what was possible in many countries that I visited, that were underdeveloped or where there was extreme poverty, it just really was a no-brainer for me to say, look, I have been blessed to learn how to manifest anything in the world. So I want everyone to have that. I want everyone to have that gift. I want these principles to go out into the world, into places like, many of the places I visited in Africa or Southeast Asia or even South America, where people haven't heard of the concept of manifesting.
Yes.
It doesn't even, it's not even in their awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's wonderful that many of the people that will read this book are here in America, but I also think that we have a responsibility. They say with great wealth comes great responsibility to give back to the world and leave the world a better place. So because I have a 4-year-old son, it's very important to me that the planet be left in really good condition when I choose to leave.
Exactly. And one of the things about our book, the fact that we have so many different authors contributing from different areas, different parts of the world, we're going to be able to reach more people outside of the US as well. And I know that was a lot of our conversation in the preparation and planning for the book. So that's extremely exciting. And one of the reasons why I was very excited to have you on board with the project is because the anatomy of abundance is really a holistic roadmap for creating abundance in your life. And it incorporates the higher and lower laws. So it's not only a guide for your inner work, but it's also action steps for helping women, people in general, create profound transformation in their lives. So we not only want to work on the inner, the mindset, the psychology of, and all of that, but we want to actually take strategic action. And what I love about what you contribute to the book is that you're almost like a poster child for what it looks like on the other side, right? You're what it looks like to fully embody abundance in your relationships, in your finances, with your philanthropy. And so this is the thing I love most about being able to share your chapter and your laws. So tell us the title of your chapter again, and share with us just a little bit about the juicy content that you've included in the book.
Okay, great. Thanks for that compliment and acknowledgement, Katrina. I always pause on the acknowledgements and let them in. Abundance is also a lot about receiving.
Yes.
The chapter is called The 8 Energetic Laws of Money. And it really is a very clear, concise framework that talks about 8 energetic laws that exist in the universe. I've been very blessed to be able to study with a lot of amazing teachers around the planet. And I always, want to be able to, what's the word? Give that knowledge away. Not everybody is able, to fly to, let's say, India and study with a guru, for example. So everything that I've learned, I want to give it away. I can highlight some of the chapters. I don't want to talk about all 8 of them because we want people
Kind
to
of leave
open the
them
book and read
wanting.
them. But let me start talking about one that's very connected to what I do in the world now, which is the law of tithing. Many people have heard of tithing from a religious standpoint, and I didn't write about religion at all in my chapter. What I wrote about was how when we give 10% of our income away, we are not just helping the world. We're doing 2 really important things that not everybody thinks about. One is we're protecting our assets. This is something that, I work with a lot of women, you work with a lot of women entrepreneurs. A lot of them are in a place where they're trying to get, higher income levels or more clients. Like they're in that place where they're climbing the mountain. Well, my chapter has parts of that too, but it's also talking about, well, what do you do when you get it? Money and assets and wealth, they also need to be protected. Right? I have many stories of people where they've manifested the life of their dreams and then they've lost it. Now we
Right.
could we could write a whole other book about why that happens, but giving 10% of our wealth away protects everything that we've created. So that is a plus. And then the other side of it is, how does it benefit the world? Well, I started looking at my team. I know you have a team, Katrina. I have a team. When you're an entrepreneur and you have a small child, you need a really great team.
Yes.
So I really started looking at, well, if I pay this person, then they're putting their child in school. If I pay this person, they are able to, go to university. Some people are able to pay their rent or buy groceries. That's another thing that I just see that people are not really aware of. It's not in their consciousness. Even with tipping, it's like, oh, I don't want to give more. But think about it. It's all going to come back to me anyway. So that's a really big part of my message to everyone is you can't outgive the universe. I
Mm.
am absolutely certain of it. I've tried it many times. I keep setting higher limits as kind of a game that I play with the universe. Everything we give comes back to us all the time. It may not come back from the same person, but it does come back. And in my experience, it's always come back in a better, juicier, higher, upgraded version. So then it starts to be fun to
Yeah.
give stuff away. And I talk about this very clearly in the chapter. You're going to get back what you give. That's another thing that a lot of people don't know. They think, oh, I volunteer at all these organizations, so therefore I'm going to get money. Unfortunately, you're going to get a lot of time back. You give time, you're going to get time. You give cash, you're going to get cash.
Yes.
So it's also about clarifying for people, what does this law of circulation really mean?
Mhm.
So that's one of the laws.
And talk a little bit about, in your chapter, you spoke also about with the tithing, it's also important the organization or the person that you choose to tithe to, and how that also needs to be aligned, because a big part of the anatomy of abundance is based in alignment. It's building your life around the truth of who you are, around your true values, not the expectations or roles that society or family or whomever has placed on you. So a lot of living in abundance and truly aligning with that is that alignment in every area of our lives. And I thought it was just so powerful and just profound how that ties into the tithing. So if you can share a little bit about that.
Great. Yes, thank you for that reminder. Okay, there's a couple of different layers to that. The first one that I wrote about was that, and this was taught to me by one of my financial coaches. When I wanted to get pregnant, for example, I was in my late 40s and, I got pregnant when I was 50. But she talked to me about, okay, you want to create a baby, you want to create a new life. So find an organization that helps people make babies. Like literally, like it's I always call the universe, it's like a computer. It's so precise that it blows my mind many times. So, what we want to create, we're going to tithe to an organization that does that thing. I'll give you an
Mhm.
example from my life. One of my businesses is in the field of real estate, and it's in a specific city. So I actually pinpoint it down to the city, not just generally. So I give to an organization that most of you might be familiar with called Habitat for Humanity, that builds homes in the city where my business is located.
Oh, very cool.
Because, and that goes back to what I was saying earlier, it helps a lot of people because that city happens to be very expensive and a lot of homelessness, which is something, that's aligned with who I am. In numerology, I'm a 22, which means I'm a master builder. So literally, my tithing is connected to my life purpose, which is to build big organizations on the globe. So what I ask of the readers is to look at, what do you want to create and where are you already working? So that's one layer of what you're talking about. The other layer that I'd like to speak briefly about is integrity.
Mm.
I have been doing fundraisers, and Katrina was recently at a big fundraiser of mine. Um, I hadn't hosted a big fundraiser in quite some time, since the pandemic. I was very happy to be able to do a very large fundraiser to help many different organizations. But when people ask me about it, because there's a lots of people that would like to get involved in nonprofit, or they'd like to help the world, but they don't know where to send the money or who to trust. That's a question I get
True.
all the time is, who do you trust, Micaela? Because you work in nonprofits for 14 years, you meet a lot of amazing people. I created the Miraclecatcher Awards of Recognition. So I spotlight a different organization every month to help and spotlight, because a lot of people don't know that so many people are doing great things in the world. So what I want to say about that is that people, when I ask for money, people give it to me. Why? Because they trust me. Because I give to who I say I'm going to give to, and it's very transparent.
Mhm.
So that's the other thing that I want to say to that speaks about what this book is about. To me, alignment means your soul, your mind, your body, your spirit, your heart, your actions are all clean and clear.
Yes.
You don't have to be afraid. Many people live in a mentality of fear. Oh, the market. Oh, the interest rates. Whatever. I don't think about any of that. Why? Because when you're super clear and super aligned, and you're doing things from a space of real generosity, it's actually about frequency. And that's why some people just never seem to be affected by some of these market shifts.
Mhm.
If you're operating in a frequency that is truly about doing good and being generous, even if something does happen, the universe will come swoop right back in and say, okay, I'm going to replace it right here. So that really frees up my time and
Yeah.
my mind, because I'm not worrying about what everyone else is doing. It's like, who do I want to help? What do I believe in? I believe right now in helping women and children the most, because it's where I needed the most support in my life. So it's my way of giving back. So everybody can choose what they believe in and who they want to help. But to sum it up, be very specific, be very intentional in where is this money going. And I personally don't give money to people in general that I don't know.
Mm.
Like, I actually get to know these people and these organizations. Even in Africa, I'm on the chat with the headmaster of my school in Uganda almost every day. I've
Mhm.
lived with his family. And so if you can't go to these places, find someone who was there.
Yeah.
Find someone that you can trust and say, I want to make sure that this money is getting to the people that you're saying that it's getting to, and verify it.
Mhm.
Don't just, send out money randomly. Be very specific, be very intentional. And that's what I have to say about that. The rest is in the chapter.
Yeah, I love it. You really did address like the common concerns when it comes to tithing and when it comes to choosing an organization. And I think that's one of the things that's making our project so potent is one, the quality of the women who were attracted and called to be a part of the book. Two, the collaborative spirit, energy, and integrity that we have, the level of integrity. And then now adding on the fact that the proceeds from the book are being donated to Shine organization. Um, I mean, it's just the most aligned it could be, because Shine is all about supporting sex trafficking survivors in really rebuilding in a very positive and contributing way. And that really is what our book is about. It's like
Right,
even
right.
if you're doing great
So
in
it's just a
life.
win-win. It's just a win-win. And that's why
Yeah.
it's such a no-brainer. It was such an easy yes for me.
Mhm.
Um, I always feel, I know that there's a chapter that probably talks about like really feeling into a decision before you make it,
Mhm.
especially with money. And I think that a lot of women and men are not taught to do that.
Yeah.
Something that there really needs to be a lot more education around, like, why am I saying yes to this? It's something that I've taken many years to really learn, to the point where it's like that doesn't feel aligned, that feels aligned.
Yes.
And it also helps me know, to trust. I know that there's things that you wrote about and other authors have written about their intuition.
Yes.
Like, does this feel like someone that I can trust? You asked me about, well, how do I tithe and how
Yeah.
do I make these decisions? When I pick an organization and I don't know the person that created it, they know someone I know.
Yes.
Always. It's
Mhm.
always based on a recommendation. It started out that friends of mine were able to nominate people that they know. You know, Jennifer. Jennifer has nominated many beautiful organizations and brought them to my attention, but I trust her.
Yes.
And those are friends of hers. So networking,
Mhm.
intuition, alignment, and Shine, speaking of Shine, Shine doesn't just help these women, it creates entrepreneurs.
Right.
It's teaching these women how to create their own businesses so they never have to put themselves in a position where they have to use their body in
Mhm.
a way that, doesn't honor their body temple.
Yeah.
And and that's something that I feel so strongly about at this point in my life is like somebody asked me recently, you know, where I was at. And I said, the greatest thing that abundance gives us as women is this massive freedom to choose.
Mhm.
I don't have to choose anything that I don't want, anybody I don't like, any industry that has even the tiny bit of murkiness in it. It just gives you the massive amount of freedom.
Yes. Choice.
Yeah, and most women on the planet don't have access to that.
Right.
And it hurts my heart. It hurts my
And
heart
I'd like,
thinking about so many children,
yes.
female children that get put in a position where they have zero choice.
Mhm.
And I know there are men in that position too, but more women, right? And I'm a female entrepreneur in a female body, so that's who I'm advocating for right now. But I believe that once we get to the top of the mountain, we have a responsibility to go back and say, okay, there's massive amounts. I know I'm overusing that word, but it's just, I really want to bring the gravity of it. I've been to over 50 countries. I've seen what some people are dealing with. We
Yes.
have so many first world problems here, but like really horrible circumstances that just break my heart. And it's like, I want this information to get out to the farthest reaches of the planet so that no child ever gets trafficked. No woman ever feels like she has to throw hot oil on herself to die because her life is so wretched. I mean, these are things that not everybody thinks about.
Mhm.
But go out into the world, and see what's happening. And I would be surprised if you wouldn't want to become, a philanthropist if you've seen some of the things. And you don't have to be rich. You don't, I mean, I talk about that. I started philanthropy when I was making $40,000 a year. It's not about how much, it's about 10%.
Mhm.
That's it. It doesn't have to be 20, 30, 50, 10
The consistency.
of whatever you have, whatever you're making, whatever you've got, and do it regularly. That's also very like bolded in my chapter many times. Consistently, 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 because it creates flow.
Yes. One of the
And then
things,
you don't have these ups and downs with your income because
yeah.
you're tithing so regularly that the money's just flowing. It's flowing, it's flowing.
Mhm. And we live in a world of automation. So I love that you also speak to that in your chapter about kind of automating, putting on automatic your tithing. And for us collectively with the book, having the donations or the income generated from the book going to Shine is also part of putting our tithing on automatic, which is great. So I love how everything is coming together. I'm so pleased that we were able to do this together because we've been friends now for well over 10 years. And I've always had a very high level of respect for you. And so I just think it's so interesting how things come full circle. We were in each other's lives and we sort of kind of floated for a while.
Lived
And
in different cities. Yeah.
yeah, moving to different cities and coming back together and being able to work on something this potent is very exciting for me. So tell everybody how they can follow you, learn more about you.
Great, thanks. Um, on Instagram, I create miracles. Facebook, Miraclecatcher, the Miraclecatcher Foundation has a Facebook page. On my book, Happiness is Not a Destination, is on Amazon. Um, those are the social media platforms that I'm using right now. And I'm also just want to say that some of my friends have come on board to this project, and I'm really happy that they're here as well. And the reason why I bring that up is when we talk about integrity and we talk about like how I choose where to give, I also think it's about building relationships.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily about how long you've known someone. It's also about what do you see them doing in the world. So I'm very happy to have two of my closest friends on board with this project, and you'll hear from them as well. Um, but it's just a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing that you brought everyone together, Patrina. It's a beautiful thing that, for me, it's a beautiful thing to just see so many amazing women collaborating and building bigger projects in the world, because I really think our time is now. And I don't say that lightly. I truly believe that, Western women are changing the world.
Exactly.
and this and
Happening.
this is an example of that. It's not just one woman, it's a
Mhm.
group of women who are
Yes.
aligned and coming from a very generous place, because femininity is about being in the heart, not in the head. It's not
Right.
about doing, it's about attracting
Yes.
and then circulating it. But it's coming from a very different place than we've seen historically. So
Exactly.
I love it all. I'm so happy to be part of it. And I'm so, so happy when I think about what the women that are reading this book are going to create out of it, because that's really exciting too.
Exactly. So it's not just another book where you're going to read it and then stick it on a shelf. The intention for this book is that it truly becomes a guide. And even though we're speaking to women, I truly feel that anyone can pick up this book and take a ton from it if they apply the principles, the questions, the exercises that are contained in the book. So I just feel
Absolutely.
extremely blessed. I couldn't think of a better way to launch 2024. And I'm just excited to be in community with each and every expert that has said yes to be a part of this book. And so if you haven't already purchased your copy of Anatomy of Abundance, a holistic guide to creating prosperity in all aspects of life, run on over to Amazon.com, Barnes and Noble, Goodreads, wherever you like to purchase your books, or go directly to my website, go.patrinawisdom/abundance, and you'll be directed from there. But grab your copy, and better yet, gift friends a copy of the Anatomy of Abundance. Share the love, again, circulation of the abundance. And with that, I'm excited to share more interviews with you and to continue this incredible conversation. Thank you so much, Micaela, for being here, for contributing your magic to the world. I love you, and we will see everybody soon. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Katrina. Bye, everyone.